Rocky's counting me down. Hello and welcome to another episode of Streaming Without a Paddle. I'm Andrew.
And I'm also Ted.
Okay, well, I just got yelled at for not saying your weekly What Streaming Review show. It's new. I forgot. Thank you guys in the booth. I appreciate it. And yes, I'm certifiably stupid. Anyway, this way, Ted and I took on. All right, actually, before we go, they're telling me in the booth too. Hey, before Ted and I get going, like or subscribe or follow or whatever platform you are on. Okay, right now, just do it. That way you don't forget. And if for
hmm
some reason you don't make it to the end of the show where we normally say like, subscribe, or follow, then you've got it done. All right,
hmm
great. Anyway, all right. So Ted and I took on this week the Prime Video acquisition of Good Fortune. Now, I can do everybody except for one person in this cast, so I'm going to turn it over to Ted.
All right, you ready?
I,
Starring Seth Rogen, Aziz Ansari, Keanu Reeves, Keke Palmer. Um, that's the main people. And then Sandra Oh is in here. And then, a bunch of other people you've seen and stuff. But those are the main people in this.
I miss you said Sandra. Oh, I miss Arliss.
That was a
Did you
great
ever watch
show.
that
I loved
show?
all this. Yeah, it was when I was like 12. It was a good show.
Thanks. I loved Arliss.
I loved
Uh,
Arliss too.
it, what?
I loved Arliss too, and Sandra Oh is a just fantastic actress. She was underused in this movie.
I concur. She is wonderful. She is. Anyway, I'll tell you what this is about. Z, that's as far as I can get his name. He is kind of on down on his luck in life, and Keanu plays Gabriel. Can you imagine how original for an angel name, Gabriel?
hmm
Right?
Well,
Plays an angel.
they all had the names like Azrael. They all of them did. Gideon.
Right. Yeah, but still, it's Gabriel. I mean, we can show a little creativity and make him a different angel, right? I mean, they're different angel. I mean, what is Gabriel in real life? I'm going to look that up because this particular uh, angel, Gabriel, he was in charge of texting and driving, right?
Yep.
So yeah, okay, I'm looking it up here. He communicates God's will and important news to humans, such as announcing the birth of Jesus. I see they could have gone with John, or give him a good name. Anyway, Gabriel, uh, he's in charge of texting and driving. He saves people's lives and warns them they're about to have an accident. Um, when they're doing so, but he wants more fulfilling role as an angel, and that is he wants to save somebody. He wants to really help
hmm
somebody, and so he comes to Aziz character Arj 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 his character. Anyway,
Yeah,
he
Arj.
comes to Arj's help, and uh, ultimately, because he's not very good at what he does because he's never done it before, he causes Arj and then Seth Rogen's character, Jeff. Uh,
Well, you should add in the part about so Arj is doing basically TaskRabbit, and he does a TaskRabbit job for Seth Rogen's character, and then Seth Rogen hires him as his assistant.
right. And then
Yeah,
fires him because he
yeah.
gave him a corporate card and sent him to a fancy restaurant to impress a girl. And he didn't have enough money because he's down on his luck. So he used the corporate credit card. And then Seth found out about it pretty much instantaneously, or Jeff, and fired him for doing that. And then anyway, so they end up swapping lives. for a little over a week, and then uh, Gabriel is trying to get Arj to come back to his real life so that Jeff can resume his. And he touches him on the shoulder, and now they're both in the same life, and neither one of them wants to go back or wants to stay what they were. I mean,
Yeah,
Jeff
why
wants
would you?
obviously, yeah, Jeff wants to stay in his millionaire life, and Arj, who's down on his luck, doesn't want to give up being a millionaire. So anyway, it's a story about trying to get Arjun back into his world. Now we go ahead and say that this movie was not only written by, but it was also or starred in, but it was also written and directed by
Aziz
Aziz
Ansari.
Aziz Ansari. All right, and so there you go. That's the movie, and those are the players. It's 1 hour and 39 minutes in length. A proper movie length, if you ask me.
That's true. I thought this movie was. I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was. The only real criticism I have is it just ended. Like it just ended. You know what I mean? It like didn't really. And I'm not gonna say the ending, but I
Right.
was like, Paige and I were watching. We were like, oh, that's the end. Okay, okay.
Well, this movie is an acquisition. It was originally released in the theater, but it didn't stay very long. And it has nothing to do against this movie. Movies of this nature in today's climate just don't stay in theaters very long. Um, it's reported to have had a $36 million or $30 million budget,
Mm-hmm.
and it basically recouped that from what I've been able to read. Um, so a little short, a little short. Um, so it's now streaming. Um, I
I
forgot
mean,
where I was going.
I mean, I'll tell you what I took away from this movie. I
Okay,
tend to know quite a few people that are Jeffs. That like, I'm like, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I blah 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 blah, but they don't do anything. Do you not know a
right.
bunch of people like that in LA?
Well, no, not anymore, because everybody I worked with, they've either reached the pinnacle and are now producers and executive producers, and or they gotten out of the business altogether and doing something else. I mean, legitimately doing something else. So I
I
mean, I
just,
know what you're talking about. I
yeah,
understand it.
they're like these nothing jobs. They don't
Right.
do anything. And I felt like the depiction that he did in this movie of showing this dude that did nothing was but made a lot of money was so perfect. I loved that.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Seth Rogen's character,
Yeah, yeah,
Jeff.
yeah. I feel like that was very well written.
Yeah, I'm sure Z has some experience, maybe not firsthand, but knowledge of individuals that have that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Now,
I,
I
I
think everybody I know in the industry still, they're real workers. I mean, they take their positions as executive producers very, very seriously.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I was a younger man when I knew a lot of people like this. It's like, what do you do? And they're like, oh, it's interesting you asked me. I've invested in this blah blah blah, and it's that's blah 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 blah. And then I'm gonna have a meeting and we're gonna eat salads. And it's like, what? Like, how do you have money?
Right. Well, I think Ted, and I'm not sure. I can't speak firsthand because I still work. Um, is that once you get to a certain point financially, that money just it works for you.
Yeah.
So I'm not there, but yeah, I think that that's how it works. So you know what, Ted, I've remembered where I was going with this. It's late, and I didn't take my vitamins today yet. Where I was going with this was I wanted to like this movie. I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there. On Rotten Tomatoes, um, it's got a really big score. Now I don't go off of it. I looked at it and I saw it. This has got a popcorn meter of an 8, and well, virtually the same for critics as well. I'm not going to go that high. There's no way.
I mean, we're always talking about being entertained and like doing it in 90 minutes, and they did it. I enjoyed the movie. I wanted a bigger ending, if I'm being honest, but that's really the only criticism I have of it. I thought Keanu Reeves was really funny because he was being so genuine about everything.
Uh
And
huh.
like when he's like the short order cook, he's like, yeah, when I get off my shift, he was great. Seth Rogen's always great. Aziz was great. Keke
Yeah,
Palmer was great. I thought all the way across this is a well made, well done film, in my opinion.
I thought, and again, watching it dose times, you know what, I just came to the opinion on this movie was it was an average movie that uh, ultimately garnered really nice scores because the ending emotionally made you happy. Now, I agree that there could have been a bigger ending to it. There's no question. But it still left the people because it was a feel good movie. Z was successful in making you feel that at the very end. I didn't feel any sympathy or empathetic during the movie, but at the end, and I felt good about it.
Yeah,
So I look at these numbers and I say to myself, I say, you know what? Those are numbers based off of a good ending. Those numbers
yes.
don't reflect the actual body of the movie. Um, so, and here's the other thing I'm blown away by. And it might be because they shot it in LA. I don't know. This might be the personification of why they don't shoot things in LA. But this was billed as a $30 million movie.
That's exactly why they don't shoot things in LA.
And I I don't know where $30 million went in making this movie.
You know where $30 million went. You do know. You know that they were like,
I well
well, we've got to have these 10 crew people to do this job that would take two people.
well
We've got to have a scripty and an assistant scripty. We've got to have, I mean, they just making movies. Sorry, we've had a visitor in the booth right now.
oh,
We
okay.
always have the cats, but Sunbun came to visit. Hey,
Hey,
Sunny.
there we go.
Anyway,
There we go. Yeah, I
um,
got a cat right here. I got a cat back there. There's
there we go.
Sunday.
Um,
Yeah.
there's Sunday. There is Sunday, but I mean that's the problem. That's why people go to Canada and go to Europe to make films. It's because they have these bloated crews that they don't need, and they spend tons of money to get a permit in LA. That's why.
Okay. So if that's the case, then that answers it. This movie could have been shot for a fraction elsewhere if the reason it cost so much was specifically because it was filmed in LA. Now, I can I can understand also that this was Aziz's first writing directing. This was his first big project, as far as I'm aware. There might be other things.
No,
I'm not familiar with it.
he did a big TV series that ran on Netflix for a few years called Master of None,
Uh huh.
and he was like he wrote it and he did. I mean, yeah, I think it
Okay.
was Master of None, but he did, and he's pretty big. He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I watched him in Parks and Rec, and then this movie was written, and you can tell his personality by the style and the methodology in his storytelling because it plays like characters he plays,
Yeah.
so he, you know, anyway, I didn't know if it was one LA, the cost of LA put this up there at the $30 million mark, or two, there was big paydays for the actors in this, or three, you know, it was a look at me moment, and I've got money to kind of spread around.
I
So,
think I think it was a first of all, Keanu Reeves doesn't need any money. He has more money than he knows what to do with. He just likes to do projects that he likes to do. Aziz
yeah.
Ansari and Seth Rogen are definitely friends, and he probably asked him to do this. And he was probably like, "Oh, this is fun. I like this. This is cool." Um, and Keke Palmer just is in everything lately, so she probably was like, "Yeah, I'll do it. That sounds fun." I mean, it would have been a fun shoot, is the thing. This would have been a
Oh,
fun movie to make.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it
But
was that.
but you're
Anyway, I digress. I was just a little puzzled why this movie cost $30 million, and if I'm sitting in a studio somewhere and I have to write a check or authorize a check being spent, I'm second guessing why this movie cost so much money to make. That's where I'm going. I don't know where it's supposed to be. I mean, or why it costs that much. So that
I would
was
have
it.
thought this movie, judging by the way it looks, that you could shoot it in 30 days, if not less, for probably like 5 million if you weren't didn't have big movie stars.
Oh well, yeah. My thought for a budget on this movie with who was in it would have been in the 15 to 17 million. But who am I? Who.
No, you're
Anyway,
probably right because with 15 to 17 million, you could still get some pretty decent names. Give them a couple $1 million to shoot for a month.
yeah, I think you could have gotten who you have in it for
Yeah,
15. Yeah, I don't think you'd have to
I,
change the casting by any means.
I don't, I
Anyway,
don't think, I don't think actors are, and this is just me saying it, and I could be very wrong. I don't think actors are getting 15 and $20 million a movie anymore. Maybe
yeah, I
Robert
don't.
Downey Jr., but
You know, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's. Well, there's as long as that Netflix money's out there. I mean, well, look, Cameron Diaz. We read that article. She did two-movie deal with with Prime, I think it was, or Netflix, one of the two,
mhm,
and it was north of 30 million. So that's 15
yeah,
million a picture, and she's
yeah,
been
you're right.
retired. So and anyway, I thought the acting in this movie was good. Everybody did a great job. My wife watched this with me, and we were fans of the studio. We watched the studio. I thought it was funny having been, in the business and the portrayal of things. But more importantly, on the studio, I thought the camera work was amazing. But having said that, my wife pointed out, and she watched the studio as well. She she pointed out that uh, Seth Rogen, his performance personality is much better suited for somebody in more of a struggling situation as opposed to, or a subordinate, as
Hmm.
opposed to trying to portray the leader, the boss. He just doesn't. He just doesn't sell me on that.
I also find him really likable. Like he's got a nice, just him as a dude. He's got a nice, chill, easygoing likability about him.
Uh huh.
So even when he was being the rich asshole, I was like, I don't know, you're still kind of likable.
Yeah. I just think he, from a character standpoint, a performance character standpoint, he plays somebody that is struggling or looking to advance. Well, the studio is a perfect example. When he was looking for the promotion, to become the head of the studio, then his character was much more believable and likable than it was when he was playing more of the fish out of water role as the head of the studio.
Hmm.
And in this movie, he just, anyway, I my wife made that observation, and I have to say that I agree with it.
I
So,
watched
and
this with my wife too,
yeah,
and she
and,
she liked it, except that she thought the ending could be bigger. Same thing.
yeah, yeah. I thought the ending was nice, and it was heartfelt, and it left the viewers, or leaves the viewers, on a very positive note that makes you feel good. But everything up to that, I think it was just kind of mediocre. There was nothing special about it. Um, I think the three of them together had wonderful chemistry.
Hmm.
I mean, no question there. So, yeah, I do have to say this though. First of all, Brittany from Springfield, she chimed in and she gave let us know that she loves our show. So
Oh, thanks, Brittany.
my response to Brittany from Springfield, Tennessee, thank you. We're glad you're here.
Yeah, we
Anyway,
are.
I wanted to get that out of the way first because our audience is so important. Um, but I do have a story to tell. I thought it was a very funny scene, and it's going over and over in my head. There's a
Okay.
scene when they come to an agreement, and that agreement is that Aziz's character Arj gets to stay for a couple more days, the wealthy person, and then they're going to switch back. And in that scenario, Keanu Reeves's character is in Gabriel is in need of a place to stay. So he asks Jeff, Seth Rogen's character, if he can stay with him, and he goes into this little routine about I'll sleep above on top of the covers. You can sleep in the covers, or you
Hmm.
can sleep on top, and I'll sleep in it. All right, so I found that scene to be very funny, and I know why I found it to be very, very funny is because I have a related situation to that scene. Uh, we went we went camping with some family friends, right? And
Yeah.
the parents, they have an older son and a younger daughter. And my family was composed of I have an older brother and I'm the younger brother. So we go on this camping trip. We go on this camping trip, and I'm I'm forced, or not forced, but I'm assigned a room in this cabin with the daughter, the younger daughter, and she's not. I mean, we're early teens here, early teens, and she's not really having that. And so, not only does she make me sleep above the covers in the bed, but also in a sleeping bag.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It was not cool by any means. This was not a fall or winter time
Oh, it was
camping
summer?
trip. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was late summer, best of my recollection. It was late summer, but it was still very warm out. So, Michonne, if you're listening or watching the show, it reminded me of you and our situation, which, by the way, as adults, we had this running joke. I would always, whenever she introduced me, we're still friends. Whenever she introduced me to somebody, uh, she'd say, "Hey, this is Andrew." And I said, "Yeah, Michonne is the first girl I ever slept with."
There you go. That's funny.
Anyway, great story, great times. All right, Ted, let's get to some numbers on this.
7.3.
You're stealing. That was my number, 7.3.
That was my number last week, too. I didn't even
It,
think about it.
it,
Just thought about that.
it just, it's good, it's entertaining, but there's just nothing special about it. It's a 7.3.
I feel like that's a pretty good number for just a I feel like that is a good number.
It's a Marco's pizza score. It's a good pizza. Nothing special. There you
Not
go.
everything has to win Oscars. It can just be a good movie.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, it was entertaining, but I just want our viewers to know I'm a watch. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm not a naysayer on it,
I would
but
watch it again.
I think my two times is two times enough right now.
Two
But
times
I
already.
want to be honest with our listeners and viewers is, you know what, do watch it, but don't expect anything that's just going to blow you out of the water. I mean, so there's nothing in this movie that will be a water cooler moment where you're going to talk to your friends. I remember that scene where, you know, if I
Yeah.
didn't sleep with, if I didn't have the sleeping bag on top of the bed, you know, life story, it would mean nothing to me. I mean, because
Okay.
that was the only thing I could relate to. So, anywho, all right, Ted. I think it's your rewind this week, isn't it?
Is it?
I think
I'll tell
so.
you what it. I'll tell you what I watched the other night that I think is a fun rewind. The movie Rad, the BMX movie.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, it's on Amazon,
it's
and
on.
I watched it
Okay,
the other night directed by Hal Needham.
okay. What's it about? I'm
It's
not
about
familiar with Rad.
it's about a BMX race called Hell Track, and it's just BMX bikes. It's kind of silly. But it's fun. 1984 nostalgia.
Okay. You remember we used to have a BMX track here.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? I'm not talking about the
Those.
one at the park. There was a family that were big BMXers, and they built between Hendersonville and Gallatin. They built an actual BMX park, and I could be wrong, but memory serves me. If memory serves me correct, the county made them take it down because they were people were coming out like it was a campground, and they were going out there and they were riding on the track, and that weren't
Hmm.
locals or them or whatever. And so I think the county made them close it down because became was considered a stadium kind of thing.
Come here,
So
Sonny. Sorry.
anyway, no, Sonny could be on
I
the
don't remember
show.
that one. I don't remember that one, but I do remember the one at the park because we used to
Yeah,
all ride our bikes over there, and then they bulldozed it when I was probably 14 and made another baseball thing. The only
Hendersonville
BMX
is a
track,
baseball team.
yeah, the only BMX track is it's out in over by Antioch in that park over there. It used to be called Dixieland, which it's had its name changed. It's just Nashville BMX, but it's still there, still rocking.
Yeah. Oh wow, wow. All right. Anything else
I've
you
been watching
watching?
Widow's Bay, and I'm not a. I mean, it's really good.
Okay.
It's a mix between like it's funny, but it's also really kind of like Twilight Zoney. It's really good. But I'll do it. I'll do a short on it when I get finished.
Okay. All right. Do look forward to that. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys being with us as we go through this journey in life. And until next week, I'm Andrew.
I'm Ted.